Hello and welcome to the Last Word on Spurs. We hope you're keeping very, very safe and well. Thank you so much for joining us for a midweek edition of the Last Word on Spurs. If you're listening to the show for the first time, you can find us on iTunes. We're on Spotify. We're an audio boom. We're across a range of different audio platforms. We're, of course, on Twitter at Last Word on Spurs. We're on Facebook and Instagram too. And you know, if I'm grinning, there's only one man that's making me do this intro. That's the wonderful Antony Costa back on the Last Word on Spurs. Before we get into that, of course, we're here looking ahead, of course, to Brighton to come at the weekend. But the big breaking news as of today is, of course, Antonio Conte contracting coronavirus, which has led him into serious doubt as to whether he will be at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium for Spurs' Premier League fixture against Brighton at the weekend. I'm delighted to be joined by three great guests on the Last Word on Spurs. Listen, there was the intro already gone. I've got the wonderful Antony Costa back with us on the Last One on Spurs. And it's so weird, twice in a week, and you're still beaming happy. What's going on?
Yeah, mate, it's nice to be on the show, Rickster. No ants rants tonight or this week, which is fantastic to hear and see for all the listeners and viewers. Yeah, I'm happy, man. I'm up in Cardiff at the moment rehearsing, so apologies for the bad light in the in my hotel room in Cardiff. So yeah, I'm excited to get going. Lots to talk about. Let's crack on. Let's do it.
Amazing. I know people want to ask me the question here, Anne. Naturally, what's in the diary? What's coming up? People able to get tickets for what's coming up in the diary? Can you let us know?
Yeah, I mean, I'm about to embark on a couple of weeks in a tour called Dreamboats and Petticoats. So I'm rehearsing this week in Cardiff. Next week I'm in Cheltenham. I open on Tuesday, and then the week after I'm in Newcastle, and then after that, who knows where I'm going to be next time. So yeah, me and the boys have pushed back our tour to the end of the year. So yeah, things are looking bright, mate. It's all good, and what tops it off is Tottenham are winning, which is great.
Yeah, and I've never seen you so happy recently. I mean, this is the thing, Anne's been doing the show for the last couple of years. We're calling each other every day, and he's normally around. There's so happiness. It's just unbridled joy at the moment, which is so bizarre. And it's weird to have smiling faces on Last Word on Spurs so often these days. Let's hope that doesn't change. Also joining us, fingers crossed. There's also hoping. Listen, great having him back on the show. He's always smiling, always joyous, always got some energies up his sleeve. Got the wonderful Sammy Powell, also on the Last Word on Spurs. Sammy, how are you, my friend?
I'm very well, thanks, Rick. Yeah, it is peculiar to see everybody smiling, especially Ant. That's the strangest one. Jesus Christ! Even if there's we just creeping a 1-0 in there, he's normally there with a doom look on his face, thinking we're not going to make this. But I think even he's surprised the run that we're on, and yeah, it's not saying you're that skeptical, mate. But yeah, it's good. We're all happy, aren't we? So good time.
I'm a realist. I'm a realist, Sam. I'm a realist, bro.
I know you are, mate. I know you are. Keep it real.
Been hurt too many times. We've been hurt too many times. I know this lady, listen, watches Spurs above and beyond, and also like us, our mood is dependent on the result of Spurs. We've got the brilliant Sunday Times bestseller. Listen, books include Mitchell, the Butler series, The Family Man comes out as well, September 2021. We've got the brilliant, finally making a debut, Kimberley Chambers joining us. Kim, lovely to finally have you on Last Word on Spurs.
Cheers for inviting me, and I'm happy. I'm normally the most biggest doom and gloom merchant ever when it comes to Spurs, but even I've got a smile on my face. I ain't got much bad to say tonight.
Do you know, there's so much happiness at the moment with Spurs. It's quite unbelievable. And, everyone was saying with Conte obviously coming down with coronavirus, and of course we wish him well. That is always something with Spurs that hopefully is going to, we say hopefully won't trigger anything negative. And we wish him all the best. Of course, we're going to touch upon that in more detail. But Kim, before we discuss Spurs and what's going on, you've of course got a book out at the moment. Can you tell us a bit about that book and where we can get it?
Yeah, The Family Man's out at the moment. It's my normal genre. I've got a copy here. I've got the hardback here, but that's the front cover. But it's in all your supermarkets, bookstores, high street stores, whatever. And it's out at the moment. I write sort of crime fiction, but I write it from the villain side of the fence. Like, it's all about the villainous families. There's always a few not right characters, and there's normally a drunken aunt, a thieving gran, that type of thing. There's always a villain chucked in, which is normally the husband or the wife or whatever. And it's I got to number 2 on the Sunday Times bestseller chart with the hardback. Unfortunately, come out against Richard Osman, and he's just unbeatable. His sales are phenomenal, But but look, so the paperback's out now, and it's in all your supermarkets and wherever. I saw it today when I went shopping, actually.
Fantastic. Listen, we're looking forward to talking to you in a bit more detail about that. Kim, you're going to forgive me for saying this. When we went through casting beforehand, we were checking your mic to make sure that we can hear you clearly. It's just going in and out at the moment. So I don't know whether you want to, when you're talking, you might want to hold the mic to your mouth potentially. Yeah, do you want to try that for us?
Is that any better?
That's a lot better. You look like you're about to do airplane for us, but that's absolutely fantastic. So we're going to make sure.
With Kim though, Rick. So thanks for getting Kim on.
Oh, listen, it's been a pleasure having Kim here. The only thing I feel bad now for Kim is that Kim's got to be in pilot mode every time she goes to speak. You'll be like this. So we have to remind you to pick up the mic when we go round to her for the show. But let's start with the big breaking news. And let's start with you. Antony Conte, unfortunately contracting coronavirus. From what we understand at the moment, he is like to be in charge of Saturday's match against Brighton, despite testing positive. Listen, we speak all the time. I know there's, at the moment, such an abundance of joy watching Spurs. Is it always that issue around the corner? There's always something with Tottenham that's going to, unfortunately, derail us, and hopefully it's not this, fingers crossed.
Well, listen, I hope Antony Costa is resting up well and, after contracting COVID. So that's first and foremost. Hope he's all right. Secondly, if I'm talking, as Sammy said, I'm going to bring a bit of a downer, a bit of a cynical Spurs downer. When everything going so right for us, something has to happen. Whether it's a player being injured, I'm going to talk about Doherty in a bit, or Conte with COVID. But do you know what? I'm confident for Saturday, and it's very unlike me. I think Conte's going to be on the touchline. But if he's listening, which I think he might do, he might be bored out, in isolation for a couple of days, want to listen to a bit of last word. Wish you all the best, mate, and make sure you're on that touchline on Saturday, cheering the boys on for sure.
Yeah, I can't believe that.
Do you know what? If he wasn't there, right? Let's say for argument's sake he's not there Saturday. Is that? Do you reckon the team would fold because he's not there? I personally don't think it would. I'm not saying that he's not influential, but I think that we're in such a nice rhythm at the moment. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. I think as long as we get the win, I don't care who's there. Yeah. Do you know what I'm saying? But yeah, right, if he is there, but it's one of them. If he's not there Saturday, is it a massive, massive miss? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think?
Well, I mean, personally, for me, I just think the way we're playing at the moment and the way he almost encourages the players on the touchline, I think he's so pivotal. You see, he actually is engineering and changing tactics when he's out there. I just wonder with him not being there. I'm not saying it gives the players an excuse to not perform, but I think exactly. I think if you asked every Spurs fan, they'd rather him be there than not. So, listen, we wish him well, of course. Sammy, let's come round to you. I mean, as things stand at the moment, we understand that he's been appropriately distancing himself from the rest of the squad at the moment. We understand he's been taking a watching view, from what we understand, from an insider, the wonderful Frankie Major, letting us know it was potentially that he's obviously got a view of what's going on in training. What do you make of that, Sammy? How damaging is that not having Conte there actually involved in the training? I mean, we know his coaches are highly influential in terms of taking a lot of those sessions.
Yeah, I think it is detrimental, to be fair, Ricky. I think he's that influential when he's there. I mean, one positive to come out of it is that at least, if anybody can have a good chat with COVID, it's Antonio Conte. He should pull it aside at half time and it might bugger off. But I mean, I think that the way he's been, his influence clearly for me has been the half-time talks lately. The difference between Tottenham in the first half and the difference between Tottenham in the second half have just been mega. And that's clearly down to what Conte's doing at half-time. So that does put the feelers up me a little bit for him not being present. He needs to deliver that passionate team talk. And I do think having his passion on the sideline, how can that not be infectious as well? I don't know. I'd like to see him out there really. But like I said, if I'm sure he'll handle COVID well, mate. He handles everything else well, doesn't he? So yeah, we're just all wishing him a speedy recovery, aren't we? My opinion, it would be a massive loss if he isn't there. I know we're on a roll, but we're on a roll. In my opinion, and I know you can pull out individual players. We're on a roll because of Antonio Conte. Let's make no mistake. He is the best thing that I've seen happen to Tottenham in such a long time. He needs to be at every game at the moment. It's pivotal.
Yeah, absolutely. Kim, let's come around to you, which means we've got to go back into airplane mode. Sorry about this, Kim. It means picking up that mic as we do. I feel like I don't know what I'm doing here. I absolutely don't know what I'm doing here. But I mean, essentially, Kim, from what we understand, that Mason and Stellini, which is one of his assistants, have been essentially running those main training sessions. And we've got Gianluca Conte overseeing the video sessions. For you, Kim, when you're seeing Spurs run a form at the moment, how damaging would that be if Conte wasn't to be there on Saturday, even though everything is pointing towards Conte being there for the game?
I've got to agree with Sam. I mean, those half-time talks seem to be working wonders. When you're looking at some of our performances in the first half and how differently, I don't know what he's doing to them at half-time, but he's doing something good. I mean, obviously, first and foremost, I wish him well, but I also agree, if anyone can be back by Saturday, it's Antonio Conte. COVID ain't going to lay him out for long, I dare say, but it would be a big loss, and it's no disrespect to Brighton saying this whatsoever, because obviously, we know what we're like sometimes when we're on a roll, but I do feel quite confident about Saturday. I'm not saying it's going to be easy. It won't be. There's no easy games at the moment, but I just think if he's going to get COVID and be out, and even if he doesn't make a game, I'd rather it be for Brighton at home than, say, for Brentford away or Liverpool away or that particular week, So hopefully he's back, he's well, and he's back by Saturday. And if not, let's just hope there's some screen in the dressing room at half time where he can shout his orders and give in. But also, surely the players, if their manager's out ill, they're going to want to make him happy, surely.
Yeah.
I agree with you, Kim. What I think is if there's any man on the planet that can turn anything negative into something positive, it's Antonio Conte, isn't it? So I think that he can switch it round quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree. And coming back around to you, we know now that he's going to hold his pre-match press conference via Zoom, as opposed to being now directly with the journalists at Hotspur Way. Again, what we also understand is that it will take lateral flows towards the end of this week, and we're hoping to be at the game. I think what's also interesting, Ant, to add is that since we've had a less congested fixture list, he's been able to hold 20 to 30-minute video analysis with the players rather than long sessions, which were tricky to digest. I mean, it definitely feels that having that one game a week has really instilled into the players the tactics that he wants to deploy game by game, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, we always say it, don't we, us boys on the group and stuff, that as Antonio's season's been going on, we've been having the one game a week. He has been able to implement his tactics, his work ethic, and I think it's been, as we all know by results, it's been fantastic and been a real godsend. But if we want to be going into Champions League football next season and do well in it, there's 2 games a week there. So it's all well and good this season. It's about what happens in the future for next season. So hopefully these players know what he wants and what he wants from players, and they can put that from this season into next season if we are to be in the Champions League. So yeah, I mean, it's all well and good now, but I'm looking for the future for next season as well. But listen, every game now is a cup final, even though we don't do well in cup finals.
Or as we say, a 5th round FA Cup tie.
It's the 5th round tie against Marine, every week. So if we can implement what we did against them in these next 7 games, and we end up above them, not down the road, and in the Champions League places, what a season this has been.
Yeah, absolutely. Very quickly, we've got to touch upon the form recently. Sammy, coming over to you. Spurs victorious against Villa last time out, a 4-0 triumph. Spurs now winning 7 of their last 9 games to move into that top 4. We're still currently holding that 3-point margin now above Arsenal. We find ourselves 6 points above United and West Ham following the weekend's results. Has it surprised you at all, Sam, just the way Spurs have become so assertive in this top 4 race?
Yeah. My simple answer is it's massively surprised me, because I think we've started the games, Rick, the way that we've been known to start games. We've just, you're wondering why, to be fair, again at Villa like that, the early goal, I thought that was lucky. They absolutely peppered us. And then, and Newcastle again, just the start wasn't fast enough. They just didn't pick that pace up. But like Kimberley was saying, I'm completely on board with that half-time talk. What does he do? I mean, whatever he says to those players at half-time, bottle it up and sell it as a life-changing cure for something. It's magical, because they come out a completely different squad, don't they? They're absolutely. I've been really surprised. But I did say on our last time I was on a show with you, Ricky, we were doing predictions for games. And I did say with thump Newcastle, I did say with thump Villa. But what I did say, and I just want to put this straight, I'm sure you're going to come to the question later on, is that I did say I don't think we're in for a chance of top 4. And I said it at the risk of sounding like I'm sorry to say that. But I did say I feel like top 4 isn't within our reach and it's Arsenal's to lose. But I just can't believe the results for the first time have gone in our favour. So I can't believe it all, really. The way that Tottenham are playing is unbelievable. The results that the other teams are getting are, quite frankly, unbelievable. Must-win games. It's all going in Tottenham's favour. It's all just a little bit too good to be true for now. It's almost suspicious, isn't it?
You're very true. I mean, it is right. I mean, Kim, coming over to you, as Sammy touched upon there, Spurs is form-wise at the moment, we're in excellent form, having won those last 4 games. We took advantage of Arsenal's defeat to Brighton at the weekend. And also, this is crazy stats, Spurs creating 46 big chances in 2022. It puts us in second across Europe's top 5 leagues. Has it surprised you, Kim, the way Spurs have become ultra consistent over the last month?
It's mental, to be honest with you. And I mean, you've got the credit has got to go. I mean, obviously the player, but Antonio, he's been marvellous. I mean, this is, as a Spurs fan, this is the most excited I've been since, the good days. I was a big fan of Pochettino, still am, but under the good days under him, and I never expected it this season. I really didn't. I mean, I remember doing a podcast earlier in the season. He hadn't long taken over, and I said, "You can't polish a turd." I thought we had too many average players, but I think the 2 lads that come in from Juve, credit to them as well. It's been a long while since we've signed players that have literally hit the ground running, and both of them have been. I think sometimes it helps to buy 2 teammates from a team, if 2 are available and they're good players, they settle in quicker. But to settle in like them lads have in January, they're both only young. I think they've been marvellous, and they've added so much to that side, But he's done wonders, Antonio. I can't speak highly enough of him. I'm just glad we've got ourselves in this position. Obviously, we've got to go on and we've got to continue with this form. But also, when you look under Nuno, we wasn't even having a shot on goal.
No.
Suddenly we can't stop scoring. I mean, the turnaround's just incredible.
Yeah,
Kim, we were at the Brighton. I'm sorry, Rick, to butt in there, but me and Kim were at the Brighton game together at the FA Cup, weren't we? We was watching together in one of Kim's friends' boxes, and Kulusevski come on, didn't he? And I was quite excited, and me being a cynical Spurs fan, and you want to hit that, the ground running, and I liked what I saw. I didn't have a brilliant 20 minutes, but I thought there's something in him that I will like. And as Kim said, 2 lads, Kulusevski, Bentancur. Well, you know what I feel about Bentancur, Rick. I think he's a great player, and he's really upped everyone's game. And I think that's all you got to do in these windows. Buy sensibly. You don't have to buy millions upon millions of pound players, and they come and they can't hit a barn door. So get these players, as Kim said, that are teammates that know and can hit the ground running. And I think it's been a blessing in disguise. I really do.
Yeah, totally agree. Lots of love coming in for you, Kim. Lots of agreement with you in terms of how important it was to buy those 2 players from the respective club in terms of Juventus. And I think we're seeing now, the reward for that. Spurs' form has been quite formidable. We have unfortunately had some bad news in terms of, obviously, Matt Doherty, out for the season. So we are going to turn our attention to that next. So for our listeners on audio, we are going to go on our first break of the show. But before we do, just to reiterate where Conte is right now in terms of symptoms-wise, it's mild symptoms. As we understand, the players had Sunday and Monday off. This is only the 2nd day without him. It's not ideal. There's still confidence that he'll be there, obviously ahead of that Brighton game. And listen, fingers crossed from all of us here. We wish Antonio Conte all the best, a very, very speedy recovery. For our watch audience on YouTube, thank you so much for joining us on a Champions League night. So we appreciate you tearing yourself away from live football for the last word on Spurs. Really, really do appreciate that. Right, guys, I mean, listen, as Ant would always say, there's always something around the corner. And we got that something around the corner earlier in the week with Matt Doherty, unfortunately, suffering a season-ending knee injury. He's actually become a key player for Spurs over the last recent weeks. Obviously, he's got 2 goals and also 2 assists in his last 5 games as Spurs really did mount this battle for this top 4 finish. I just wonder, and to start with you on this, how much of a blow this is for Tottenham, because he is almost now, you'd say, almost cemented that spot in the side. And now we're relying on Emerson, to be fair, I know, who divides massive opinion as to whether he's going to be good enough to see us through to the end of the season to sustain a top 4 finish.
Yeah, I mean, as I said when we started talking, there's always something negative to come up from something positive. And the negative is seeing Matt Doherty out for the season. I think he's been doing all right. You know, you've just read out his stats for the last couple of games, and he's been really, really good. He's been playing in his position that we bought him from, you know, that last season from Wolves. So it's going to be a shame, but it's one of them things you got to keep going. I wish him a speedy recovery for next season. And Emerson Royale has to step up now. I think if Romero was out and Doherty was out, I'd be really, really worried, to be honest with you. But Romero obviously is our Rolls Royce at the back along with Dyer. And I think we're obviously going to miss Doherty, but we got to keep going. Injuries happen in football. It's one of them things where you just got to dust yourself down and get on with it.
And just quickly before I do bring Sammy in, do you have a view on that tackle from Matty Cash? I mean, it looked really nasty at the time.
It did, yeah.
Do you have a view on that? How bad that tackle was?
It was bad, obviously, when you look back and see it again. But I don't know. I really don't know enough, scientifically to see what's happened to his. I don't know, but It wasn't a great tackle, and I don't think he went out intentionally to hurt a fellow professional. I really don't. I don't think he's that type of player, Matty Cash. But it's an injury that's happened, and as I said, we wish Matt Doherty all the best.
Yeah, I mean, Kim, I'll come around to you actually next, Kim. From what we understand, that it's a complete MCL rupture that will now mean he's going to be out for a minimum of 10 to 12 weeks. Have you been impressed with him, Kim, the way he has actually now? He did cement himself into the side in the last few weeks. He was really playing with confidence under Conte. How do you feel about Emerson coming in for those remaining games?
Worried. Emerson seems a likeable lad. He's only young, and I really hope he goes on to do well. But I'm just not sure he's good enough. I'm gutted for Matt because I think he'd really found some. I think he's going to be a big miss to us. The way he's been playing recently. He sort of hit the form that he was in for Wolves. You know, I remember him playing against us once or twice, and he was really good. He was a danger, and he's hit that form again. I'm gutted for him, because I think his confidence must have dropped. Obviously, he wasn't particularly popular with the fan base and that, but it proved strength of character to me, the way he sort of pushed his way back, wanted to do well and come through. I just hope, with the confidence in the side at the moment, and I do like, Emerson, he's not like, I never particularly wasn't, a fan. I didn't really like, from what I saw of him, like the likes of Ndombele's attitude, but Emerson to me, he looks like a lad with good attitude, and I just hope sort of, he can see it through to the end of the season. And as Ant said, if it was Romero as well, you've got to expect injuries. That's the thing. And touch wood, I don't want to, we don't want to tempt fate, but we normally pick up worse this season. It could have been Harry. I do think he's going to be a big Matt, and I just hope, Emerson, I thought he did all right at the weekend, if I'm honest, against Villa. There was some, it was one of his better games.
Yeah, absolutely. I just wonder, Sammy, whether they'll see it as such for Emerson in general, that am I being brutal to say he's got 7 games left to save his Spurs career? Is that being dramatic? Do you think, a young player, give him time? He's only been here for, only a number of months really to settle. What do you think, Sammy? Because he's not obviously Conte signing. He was obviously a Paratici signing for Nuno. How do you see that working out between now and the end of the season for him?
Yeah, I'm still on the fence with Emerson Royale, Ricky. And I've been even more on the fence since seeing Doherty come into the form that he's been in. He's been absolutely pressing high. Doherty seems to be able to get back. He seems to be up front. He seems to be in the mid. He's all over the place. And one thing that I've really picked up on is understanding Harry Kane. He's got some type of connection with Harry Kane. And I'm not just saying that because of his goal. He has got an understanding with Harry Kane. And if you've got an understanding with Harry Kane, you're either going to get the ball provided to you or provide the ball to him. So he's been... Doherty's a massive loss for us. I'm going to put to bed what my feelings are on the cash challenge. It was disgraceful. It was absolutely disgraceful. They came out fighting. They knew what they were doing. We're lucky that we didn't have 3 players injured. I thought Villa were an absolute disgrace in terms of the way that they were challenging. And I will not hold back again about that. I thought it was, I was fuming, absolutely raging at the way that Villa were trying to chop us down. And then on the other hand, you've got to give it a little bit of thought and think, well, they're trying to chop us down because we're good. We're actually pretty much unstoppable at the moment. And Aston Villa, the only way to do it was to give 110%. And Steven Gerrard said they gave 110%. And the only way they could do that was flying into us the way they did. But I'm fuming with the fact that he's injured. I think he was coming into really good form. I think what Kimberley said about him coming into the same form as he was at Wolves, I think he's miles better. I think Conte has already got more out of him than what he had previously. And yeah, I'm really disappointed that Doherty is injured. Can Royale step up to the plate? I'm on the fence about it. However, because he's got those jester moments in him, hasn't he? Those slow pass backs, and he's not quick. It gives me that Davinson Sanchez feel of, oh my God, is it going to be good, great, or terrible? I just don't know. Very inconsistent, but we've got to back him, haven't we? It's his time to step up to the plate, and he's got 7 days to do it. I'd rather have Doherty there. That's my opinion.
Interesting. Kim, I just want to come back over to you. You've got a question on the screen there from Raj. Raj says, why do we think Conte's persisting with Emerson? Should we not try and bring in Mora or Bergwijn? Do you have a view on that, Kim? If we should maybe look at those as potential options, or would you stick with Emerson, give him some confidence? He's only been here for, as I said, a number of months.
I mean, I think we've got to put the best player in to get us through these final games. But surely he's tried the others in training. He must have done. He's got to listen. No disrespect to Emerson, as I said. He's a likeable lad, and I hope he does well. He's very young, but surely he's, Conte knows that he's not really the finished article at the moment, and perhaps he's tried other options. I mean, I don't know whether Moura would work. I'm a big fan of Lucas Moura. I know not everybody is, but I am. I think he's a good player and a great player to a great squad player, like another likable character. And I keep saying likable characters because I think that's such important when you're trying to build team spirit. I really do. Do you know what I mean? I think. To get that, we seem to have that team spirit back again that we haven't had since the days when Poch was doing well. It's that sort of spirit that seems to be back. And I think it's all a thing that joins together. But yeah, Bergwijn, you could perhaps see playing there. I don't quite know what he's like defensively, but surely, as I said, they have tried this in training. They've got to have done, I mean, what you've got to look at is just say, for instance, so touch wood he won't, but if Emerson got injured, who would they play then? You've got to look at that. But I just want to touch on something Sam said as well. I thought Villa, the same thing about Villa, that first half, the way they came out and were skiving us down, it reminded me a little bit of the Battle of the Bridge that time. You remember the Battle of the Bridge, that game when they were just tackles flying? I thought, what the hell's going on here? Do you know what I mean? But yeah, and I didn't think it was a particularly good tackle on the Doherty as well. But it seemed to, once they injured one, it seemed to calm down a bit. I'm not saying the guy did it on purpose. He's probably not that type of, I doubt he's that type of player. But it didn't look particularly good, the tackle, to me.
I think the worry was the referee just didn't seem to have control of that from minute one. I think he allowed Villa to dictate that game in terms of the nature of their tackles. You just think if he would have given a yellow card earlier on, that may have just set the precedent. But the way that game was first half, it just seemed like Villa were being allowed to make foul after foul after foul. And they were. I mean, some of them were really, really bad tackles. Yeah. It is a concern because you would probably think if we, set that ground early, then, would have been injured, Doherty. There
should have been 3 yellows in the first 20 minutes.
Yeah. I don't think you're being harsh by saying it. Kim, I agree. I really, really do. Well, listen, we wish Matt very, very well indeed. I mean, and do you have a view on that for you very quickly? You know, would you be giving Emerson to the end of the season to prove his worth, or do you think Spurs should maybe look at Kulusevski, Bergwijn, Mora as a potential wing-back option?
Kulusevski needs to be in the front three with Kane and Son. The understanding they're getting at the moment is brilliant. So he can't. I don't want to see him at right wing back. But if I was to choose between Bergwijn and Mora and Emerson, you'd have to give Emerson the chance this game and in the next game. But if it's not working out, then I would put in Bergwijn, because Bergwijn has got the pace up and down. And as a right wing back, as wing backs, you don't really have to defend that much. When I say don't defend, I'm saying that's not really their job. Their job is to get the ball up, them high lines and make it good crosses in. Because as I said, when Emerson's bombing down that right, you've got Romero tucking in on just behind him to cover him. Do you see what I'm saying? Defensively, they're not great. But I'm saying when we started talking, if Romero was injured, then that's a different story. Then we might as well just pack up and go home. Do you know what I'm saying? So I think with Emerson there, you've got to give him a chance. I'm not, and I think he can do the job as long as Romero, Dyer, and Davis all stay fit in the next 7 games.
Yeah,
that's more important.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. What we will do is we will go for our next break of the show for our listeners on audio. Taking this break, you're going to hear a very quick snippet of an interview from Ryan Sessegnon. I'm going to give you his thoughts about Antonio Conte and the way in which he is, as Kim has said, kind of made us all believe again. And he really, really has. So I'll say Ryan Sessegnon will take you into that break. For our watching audience on YouTube, thank you so much as always. 300, 400 of you watching us live on a night where we're playing and competing with the Champions League. So thank you so much as always for your incredible support on Last Word on Spurs. There has been reports, we must have said, about Fabio Paratici over the recent day or so, which I know is not taking much headlines in the UK. But from what you understand, the FIGC federal prosecutors are requesting a 16-month suspension for the Spurs sporting director as part of an investigation into fictitious capital gains. Now, what I must add is at the moment, from what I understand from reading these reports, it's more to do with him actually in Italy getting a suspension. It wouldn't actually have an issue with him over in the UK. So, I mean, again, if anyone's got any more information on this, feel free to post it in the chat. But again, I think it's just one to keep an eye on there. It is obviously slightly concerning that these reports are coming up. This is from Gazzetta dello Sport. I mean, they're expecting to hand out sentences very shortly after Easter for those on trial. And what we understand is those prosecutors are pushing for a 16-month ban for Paratici, 12 months for Agnelli, 8 for Nedved, and 11 for Napoli president Aurelio De Laurentiis. So again, it is slightly concerning. We'll bring you some more news as soon as we get it on that Fabio Paratici's situation. But I know, again, with Spurs, and this is the crazy thing, that, we can't help but look at, some of our players and what they're doing on loan at the moment. And Kim, coming over to you, I still can't believe I'm saying this, and actually it's true. Lo Celso, we've got 1 fourth. They've got a Champions League semi-final to look forward to. What do you make of that, Kim? The players that we've allowed out on loan. I mean, Foyth actually went permanently, but Lo Celso, does that surprise you at all?
Well, going back to Foyth, I don't think we should have ever sold him. I liked Foyth. Do you know, I thought he was a good young prospect, and I think give him more time. I'd rather him as centre half. No disrespect to Sanchez, but I would. I just would. But he just, I liked him, and I thought he had a lot of potential. But Lo Celso, I mean, the thing is, it goes back to, listen, I don't know, obviously, I've never met Lo Celso, I don't know what he's like, and he's another, he's not old, he's come to a different country. I don't know. I mean, perhaps he needs to be playing in a team with confidence. Perhaps he's not suited to the English league. I don't know what went wrong, really, at all, if I'm honest. I see Brian Gill's doing well. I mean, he's one I do hope that comes back and sort of, gets himself in the side. But I just, you just sometimes, they either hit the ground running or they don't sometimes. It's like, it looks like end on belly. He's going to be back, isn't it? Yeah. And, I can't see it ever working really for him at Spurs. Can you?
Not at the moment. No, I'll be honest with you. I mean, again, I know he was highly influential for Lyon last week in, of course, their game against West Ham in Europe. I mean, I just don't see a long-term future for him at the moment. I mean, Ant, very quickly, what's your thoughts on this? Obviously, the likes of Aurier, Capoue, Foyth among those players, and Lo Celso as well,
Wow.
taking Villarreal to a UEFA
It's a
Champions League
team-
semi-final.
It's a team full of ex-Spurs players, isn't it? It's crazy. But good luck to them. It didn't really work out for them us. One player that I really wish would have stayed another season, I think he had it in him, was Etienne Capoue. I don't know, there was something about him that I liked when he was at Spurs. But obviously none of the managers fancied him. But listen, good luck to him, and I love you, mate. But I'm not here to talk about Villarreal.
Sammy, quickly for you, any surprises? Some of the players that we've let go?
Yeah, surprised, not necessarily. I mean, there's a couple of players that only really stick in my mind after they've gone. One of them did an assist last night in the Champions League, who I'm sure you know who that is, Lucas Moura. And the Gareth Bale situation always sits on the fence with me because I'm a massive fan of his. But Lo Celso, he was a little bit like getting a Snickers, my favourite chocolate bar, and biting into it and finding no nuts. And then they go away and then they do these magical things at other clubs, but they can't do it at Tottenham. And I'm not too bothered anymore, Rick. What I'm bothered about is who my manager wants in the team and who he can build around. This Kulusevski, like Kimberley said before, let's just touch on the Kulusevski subject. What a find! What a find! I mean, Bentancur, amazing, consistent. But Kulusevski, if you offered me now, right, we can switch him with Diaz for Liverpool, whatever. There isn't. I don't think I would trade him for a player at the moment who I know is on the market. Kulusevski, for me, at the moment, is irreplaceable. And I'll tell you why he's irreplaceable, Rick. He's come in as a Spurs player. He's come into Tottenham, and he's already Tottenham. That is super, super hard to find. I put a little quote on my Twitter, which was that you could go to an expensive restaurant and look at all the expensive dishes like scallops and this and this and this and that and whatever. But sometimes you just want steak, and you order the steak, and it's the best steak you've ever tasted. He's simple. He's a steak. But he is just absolutely the best we could have got for the money. I'm so surprised with him. And you know what? I genuinely think the best is yet to come with him. So in terms of the players that go out, because I had emotions for Dele Alli, for crying out loud, and Eric Lamela. I loved Eric Lamela. We do this as Tottenham fans, don't we? You know, they give us an unbelievable moment.
Well, some of us do, not all of us.
Well, not all of us, but you know that I had a soft spot for Dele, and I'm sorry for people listening that didn't. You know, I was just always so disappointed to see him, just for the purposes of the podcast. I was always so disappointed in Dele Alli because of what he brought us to how it ended. Okay, and that's a very disappointing thing to see in a professional career. But what I have to say is, you're bringing a young player like Kulusevski. I wasn't expecting it. Listen, Ricky, I'm not afraid to say I was Googling YouTube videos of him, wondering what he's going to bring to our squad. And he's come in and he's understood it. He's understood what Conte wanted. He understands what the players want, and he delivers. But the one thing I like about him is he's quite bullish, isn't he? He's a steak, in my opinion. That is what he is. He's a piece of meat, and he does the job. He's not afraid to have a shot. He's talented. He loves a challenge. He likes to argue with the referee if there's a wrong decision. He gets there up front. He's in the right space. What a find he is. He's absolutely mustard. And so I want to see a lot more of Kulusevski's coming into the team. But, you know, when it happened, the grief that Antonio Conte was, well, I would say not Conte, but Spurs as a club for not backing the manager. Let's call it that. Because, we've not had a good January transfer window, which is always what we'll get. They were Antonio Conte's choices, and I didn't know what to expect from Bentancur or Kulusevski. They are game-changing players. This manager has had no time. He's had a January transfer window, and the players he's had to work with. He's made Ben Davies look good. I'm sorry to say that, but he's made Ben Davies look good. He's made Matt Doherty look amazing, and Matt Doherty has been amazing. this guy is changing players, but he's also going to change the squad for the better. So I want to see more of who he brings in, especially players like that. I am a massive fan. I'm also, by the way, Ant, getting messages about, like you are constantly, about you singing the Kulusevski song. I'm not going to put any pressure on you for that, pal. But everybody's wanting to hear you in blue singing "Give Me a Ginger" from Sweden.
Oh yeah, that'll go down really well with a Man United fan and a Charlton fan in the band. Brilliant.
And somebody inboxed me before doing in the style of paparazzi. I'm your biggest fan. I'll follow you until you love me. Kulusevski, which I thought was pretty good.
That's quite a good one.
But yeah, love him. Massive fan. Loving what's happened there, mate.
Yeah. Oh man, listen. I think Benson killed Kulusevski. I have to say, isn't it amazing to have two players that have rejuvenated us since January? I know there was lots of trepidation going into that window, and I know we spoke every day, just our concerns at how late Spurs were leaving it. I think I said to you during the week as well when I spoke to you that I was worried, on the last day of a transfer window, Paratic is going back to his former club and just buying two players. But you've got to say, I mean, so far so good. They have been superb for Spurs, haven't they?
Oh, they've been brilliant, mate. And you know what? I love both of them. I think they've brought so much oomph to the team. As I said, when we started talking, they've lifted everyone up. And I think that's all you need for a January transfer window. I think we had the best January transfer window out of all the clubs. I really do, because you've got, as Frank says all the time, Rick, you got rid of players that he didn't want, and he's brought players in that's improved us. He hasn't brought players that he can just sit on the bench.
They're ready now. They're ready to play now, right? Ready to play now.
They're ready. Yeah. So this is great, and long may it continue. Let's have a summer transfer window with the main man, Antony Conte, and then see where we're at in August.
Yeah, totally agree. Kim, very quickly get your thoughts on that as well with the transfer window. You touched upon Kulusevski earlier. Have you been surprised just how quickly both of those have settled, including Bentancur? Because you look at, again, I don't want to make comparisons at the moment. There's still quite a way of the season to go. You look at Arsenal, for example. They're putting a lot of their doom down to the fact that they didn't act in January. How pleased have you been by the way Spurs did their business, and both of those players seem Premier League ready, and they're showing that now since January.
I'm never pleased with the way they do their business, Ricky, because they leave it to the last day. And for me, that ain't the way really to do business. Not when you're trying for a top four position. But touch wood, as luck would have it, we've struck gold this time with Empire. And the Kulusevski, that was brilliant. I mean, as Sam was saying, he's a T-bone steak, mate. He is like a big, thick T-bone steak. I love the photo of him coming out in Stone Island. And obviously he probably went up there wearing Stone Island, but it reminded me of a kid when you was 15 years old, where you used to wear your new clobber when you come out the shop. Do you know what I mean? He had the bag, but he had the Stone Island on. I just love him. I think he's great. They've got great attitude. They're just, as I said, they've come in together, obviously pals, teammates, and just the way they've hit the ground running. I mean, whether anybody would have expected them to be as important they've become to us, I really don't know. But yes, I mean, I think obviously, when we all looked at sort of what was on the internet, and all I saw was sort of neither of us could really get in the Juve team. And, obviously we lost the guy to Liverpool, and you think, oh, here we go again. Do you know what I mean? But they've been fantastic. I mean, Juve's loss is our game, full stop. Let's be honest.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think we've all been surprised just how quickly you bring players in, they hit the ground running, and long may that continue. We must also say today Spurs have announced that Raheem Skinner, head coach for the women's side, has signed a new contract with the club until 2024. I mean, she was initially appointed in November 2020. She led the team to challenge for her highest ever league finish this season. We currently sit 5th in the Barclays FA Women's Super League with 5 matches remaining, having initially finished 7th and then consequently 8. We're going to hear from Raheem in this next break, and you're also going to hear from Anna from Spurs XY, who takes you into this break as well. And then we are going to look ahead to Brighton to come at the weekend, where again we're very kindly being joined by a couple of podcasters that have given us their thoughts ahead of the game, and that is where we're turning our attention to next year on the Last Word on Spurs. Let's start with Sammy. Sammy, listen, Spurs v Brighton. The way Spurs are playing at the moment, they look like they've got a real, stride in the way they're really now pushing teams away. They're dominating sides. There's a real confidence there. And we know Brighton, of course, have just come off the back of a really good win for them against Arsenal. For Brighton, they lost 4 of their last 6 matches, consequently just before that playing Arsenal. Thoughts on this game for you, Sammy?
Yeah, no brainer for me, Ricky. I mean, the thing is, games like Brighton, Brentford, and the likes of, they're the games. I've made this very clear on the podcast before, haven't I? They're the games that worry me. Usually, yeah, we always do really well against not necessarily top 4, but definitely top 6 to 8. We do well, and when you play teams that you should have must wins, that's when Tottenham have always let us down. As a Tottenham fan, that's what is going to be a difficult game. The must wins. You know that. And we've been through it too often. It's a no-brainer for me, mate. We're going to thrash them. We're going to thump them. Like I told you we would do with and we will. And I'll tell you what will happen. We'll come out slow in the first half. And then as long as Antonio Conte does whatever he does at half-time, and I'm positive it's something to do with hairdryers, because I've only ever seen it in the 90s with Alex Ferguson. But he's doing something at half time that is making these players get up and play for their lives. They're not playing good games of football. They're giving every single thing they've got. They're bringing Steve Bergwijn on at 89 minutes, who's playing like he's got 45 seconds to live. Antonio Conte is doing this to players. So I think we'll probably have a slow first half and thump them 3-0 in the second half. But Brighton is a must-win and will-win game for Tottenham. I'm not worried about that. My prediction, Ricky, is going to lay you flat on your back right now. I think we'll beat Liverpool in the current form that we're in. I think we could beat them. There's certain gaps in them with that high pressing. I was watching them against City, and City should have taken advantage of it. I have to watch every City game, as I mentioned to you off air before, with a family connection to City, being Northern. But I'm a Tottenham through and through. We can take Liverpool. We could actually, staying in this form, win every last game of the season. And I'll stand by the fact that we will definitely beat Arsenal. You can Arsenal TV can play this on repeat if they want to. We will absolutely thump Arsenal. No problem at all. I'm not bothered. We will bury the Gooners, and that's coming straight from here. But look at him. He hates this, doesn't he? He hates that.
This is Ant's worst nightmare.
He's glad he's not doing it. Hey, listen, he's more famous than me. He'll get it in the neck. It's not a problem. So, but let me tell you. But let me tell you something. Brighton's a no-brainer for me. We're going out there. I'm seeing it. I'm looking at 3 points already on it, and we need that. But the luck is going our way as well. And when I say the luck, Ricky, not to drag it on, but the luck isn't just the other scores from Manchester United and Arsenal. That's not just the luck. I have to stress the luck has come from some lucky early goals from us, which I think has changed the game. Because if you look at Newcastle and if you look at Aston Villa, we went up and we were getting hammered. We were getting hammered. And if we didn't have the goals behind us, that's a completely different game. Or if they get the first goal, it's a completely different game, regardless to Antonio Conte's halftime speech. So we've had luck for, the last few weeks, regardless of the international break, but we've had luck for the last few games. And long may that continue. But I do think we've got a really good run coming up. And at the moment, I'm really excited to watch my team again. I think we've got a lot of points ahead of us.
Yeah. So to clarify, Sammy's very confident. Kim, let's come over to you. Listen, Kim, Brighton is one of those teams where you never know really what you're going to get. I mean, they've been on a real poor run of form, I would say, since the turn of the year under Graham Potter. What's your thoughts going into this one, Kim? Because on paper, you'd probably say Spurs should blow Brighton away when you look at Spurs' form. But have you got any concerns going into this one at the weekend?
I don't think Brighton will come and park the bus. So I think that the way Potter sets up, I think we'll be able to hit him on the break. I don't think we're going to, smash them out of sight, but I can see us winning by a goal or two. Brentford away is a bit of a worry for me. I think Eriksen's rejuvenated them without a doubt. And, you know, obviously it's more of an evening kickoff. We're away. I think that could be a potential banana skin for us if we're not careful. But Liverpool away, I could see us maybe snatching a draw there. You know, and obviously if we could win other games, the Gooners at home, I'm not quite confident about us, I have to say, you know. But who knows? I mean, it'd be great if it was that game we needed a point or something to secure. You know, it'd be wonderful, wouldn't it? But I'm not. You know, who knows? That's going too far on. We don't know what's going to happen. But I'll tell you who else needs a mention, like for his current form. Obviously, Harry's been phenomenal in his, but Sonny's back scoring. You know, and how wonderful is that to see?
Absolutely. I mean, I agree. Listen, I agree. The boys at the moment are so full of confidence. I mean, Ant, is that one word that we have to be careful about? Confidence going into this game. Could we be overconfident at the weekend? Before I ask you that, Ant, only because you are. This has cracked me up, but I've been meant to be asking you this comment that's coming from about Sammy. There's been a comment there saying, "Does Sammy remind you of Roy Slater?" I don't think anyone is far removed.
I don't know where they got Roy Slater from.
Adam, where is Roy Slater? The opposite. Complete opposite. He's more of a Del Boy than a Roy Slater, surely.
Don't get it.
All right, it's some more context there from Adam. Are you concerned about overconfidence going into Brighton, given Spurs' form at the moment?
I wouldn't say overconfident. I just think just game by game. Just game by game. Don't start bantering them lot down the road. Let's concentrate on ourselves. Let's be the underdog. Let's go under the radar. Keep going. Keep pushing. Let's get to the Arsenal game in a couple of weeks and fingers crossed we're 6-7 points above them in an ideal world, and then we can play our football. I think if it comes down to that game, Kim, I love your confidence, but for me, you know what I'm like, babe. I'm just so like, I'm just so tetchy. Like I hate us relying on to beat them lot down the road to get top four, and then I just couldn't. I just can't handle them getting top four as. No.
What I said, if we needed a point that game, just remember there's games after. Well, no, what we got left after that? Just the one, haven't we?
I think we've got. I think it's Norwich.
Yeah, Norwich on the final. Norwich. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? No, I don't want us to.
We need to secure it for that. I got that wrong. Sorry, I didn't realise. I forgot it was so late.
Do you know what I mean? I can't. I just couldn't do it. No. I can't.
I think the problem is because we've all been there before.
He knows what I'm like as well, Rick.
Yeah. We've all been there before, where mentally we all are slightly just apprehensive now because suddenly it's come back into our hands. Where maybe many of us probably thought it wasn't going to come back into our hands, and therefore because it is now back in our hands, there is that certain apprehension now. Can we hold on to it?
We're never very good when anything's in our hands, are we? Let's be perfectly honest.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. If we go under the radar. Keep doing what we're doing. Keep pressing. Keep pushing. Getting them wins. And if we drop 2 points and we get a draw, it ain't the end of the world as long as we're still in a race. But if we start bantering them lot down the road, I can't.
The problem is though, we're not under the radar anymore, are we? I've just seen a comment come up here.
Alexander, we're smashing teams 4-0 every week.
We're smashing 4-0.
No. What I mean is, Sam. What I mean is, don't get too confident because it'll only come and bite us in the arse, mate. Please, we've been here before. We've been here before.
I know how leveled you are, but how can you not? How can you not be? Honestly, I'm sceptical every single season with Tottenham.
Yeah.
No matter who the manager, Pochettino, Mourinho, I'm just feeling a different kind of energy with Conte. You're not feeling that. I'm sorry to exude my confidence, but I'm just feeling it.
No, love it, Rick. Sam, I love your confidence. I wish I could be like you. Brother, I wish I could be like you, but you've lived through the 90s, like myself. You know what I mean? Like, when we have to win games and we don't turn up, and Lasagna Gate, and Chelsea finish in 5th and we finish 4th, and we don't get Champions League. It's just one of them things. Do you know what I'm saying? So
I get it. And everybody, we've had it before, haven't we? The hype that Tottenham are going to win the league, or they're going to. They're definitely, they're up there as one of the best teams, and it does. We do always fall flat on our face with it, and it is disappointing,
always
in front of your family, in front of your work colleagues, and everything. Oh, you've lost, you bottled it again, and it's so difficult. you know, to have that confidence again. But I've
Like
got to be
that
honest
15
about it. I'm
like
a
that
man
team-
of expressing my feelings. I've got that confidence again.
Oh, it's great, mate. It's like that 15-16 season. Yeah, you know, yeah, we played the best football in the league. Yeah, we might have done, but we didn't win the league, did we? So
No.
you don't win medals for playing the best football. You win medals for becoming first and winning games that you should be winning in a final. So this is what I mean. The amount of battles I've had with Spurs fans over this, and everyone's entitled to an opinion, and rightly so. But just chill.
I'm with you.
I don't want to be seeing Twitter. I'm seeing Twitter pages. Last time Arsenal finished above us. Come on, man. Like, do you know what I mean? I don't get it. Just.
Do you think, very quickly before we do predictions, I mean, how important, Ant, is it? I'm going to ask Kim this as well, and then Sammy. How important, Ant, is it, do you think, going into that Arsenal game, that we have got a cushion behind us, you know, a good 4 or 5 point cushion going into that game? Is that critical for you, Ant?
100%, Rick. If we got 4 or 5 points, that's what I said, 4 or 5 point cushion above them, right? And we go there, they got to come at us. They will be rattled, mate. And then we could just play our football.
Yeah.
We could even hopefully take the mick out of them, but just play our football. But if we got to win the game and the pressure's on us, I don't know. It's a completely different game.
Yeah, I mean, same question to you, Kim. How important do you think is it, Kim, going into that North London derby? We know it's obviously the game, one of the penultimate games of the season. Do you think, Kim, for us to be able to go there in a relaxed mindset as fans, we need that cushion behind us going into this one?
Well, it's under the lights at the Lane, you know, and if we can't up our game for that one, I don't know what we would. But, you know, Arsenal have got a tough run in before. They've got some tough games coming up before that. Hopefully, it's all over by then.
Was that?
We're not in a race with Arsenal for it, you know. So that's what I mean. They've got Chelsea away yet. They've got, you know, they've got some tough games still, and they're not in the best of form, are they?
No, you're not. I think, and the comment on the screen from Peter, I think, again, he's just kind of, you're reminded in the fact that, you know, despite us being the best team, we didn't actually get anything for it. So I think all he's just saying there is that, you know, like you said there, keeping it humble, staying humble, waiting to, you know, that final whistle when Spurs have actually secure before we get carried away.
We're all smiling today, and it's great to see, right? Yeah. Do you feel confident, right? Take your last word on Spurs hat off, right? You're Ricky Sachs' supporter. You're going to the North London derby at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, and we've got to win. Are you confident if we're on the same level of points?
Not as confident if we've got a cushion in front of us. I mean, we've got to be realistic. That, you know, if we go into that game with a 4 or 5 point cushion, we can go there relaxed. Like you've said, Arsenal have got to come at us, and therefore we can pickpocket them off. We've got Kane, Son, Kulusevski. You know, we've got options off the bench, Bergwijn, Mora. You know, Spurs have got to, I think, go into that game ideally with a cushion, because Arsenal will have to come and know they've got to win it. Spurs can go into that game and know that, of course, we do want to win it, but it's not the be-all and end-all. And I think, like as Greg says there, you know, as Andy's been saying all night, he says stay hysterical, not humble. I think we've got to stay humble for the reason that Spurs have got themselves into this position where, you know, they're in touching distance now, but it is about being competitive. It is about fighting to the end. Guys, let's look to close the show. Let's get predictions for the weekend. Let's start with you, Anne. What are you going to go for?
I'm going to go for a 3-1 Spurs.
3-1 Spurs. Okay.
Yeah.
A goal conceded by Hugo, but listen, we take 3-1. Sammy, over to you. What are you going to go for?
3-1's a great shout. I'd probably go this. I'm probably going to go 3-1. I'll go 3-0, I think, just to be different. But I would have gone 3-1. Ricky, I just want to say one thing, because you know what I'm like. I want to say one thing here. It's about points and who's behind us and this, that, and the other. Number one, if Christian Romero's behind us, we're all right. The guy could win a game of Connect 4 in 3 moves. He's been absolutely mustard for us, right? And the bottom line is, I'm not saying we're definitely going to finish above Arsenal. What I'm saying is, we'll thrash them, and repeat it, because the way we're going at the moment, this has got potential to be the way Conte's got the wheels turning. He's the man that is driving us forward. This is the best I've seen, and we've had better runs, but this is the best I've seen Tottenham. It really is.
Absolutely.
I just wanted to reiterate that, and I'm so sorry, Anthony, and I hope I've not put a curse on. I just need to express my feelings. I'm
Sammy.
so buzzing with Tottenham at the moment that
Mate, it's
a
great
pleasure
to
to have
see,
it.
brother. Sammy, it's great to see, mate. Please,
Yeah.
I just have to keep, because I just can't have them lot finishing above us. So that's why I just keep myself quiet.
That whatever's
You've
going
got
to
to
happen.
I haven't.
Whatever games they win, they win. Whatever games they lose. That's their games. We could win every single game coming up the way we're playing, and that is the bottom
100%.
line.
Yeah. Agree. I
100%,
get it.
brother.
Lots of comments here. Listen, it's been a really fun, vibrant, upbeat show, isn't it? Great. You know, you got Anne remaining calm, remaining collective. We've got Sammy going the complete opposite, going absolutely mental. Then we've got the calm nature of Kim, also trying to keep our feet on the ground. Kim, been lovely to have you on to make your debut tonight. Give us one final plug, Kim, of this book. Obviously, give us a show of the book.
Prediction, mate.
And obviously prediction as well, please, Kim.
Well, I was going to go 3-1, but seeing as everybody else, I don't think it's going to be, a complete rollover, and we're going to get, if seeing as everyone else said 3-1, I'm going to say 2-0. But I am worried about Brentford away.
Yeah, that game with the Ericsson reunion has got,
got a slight concern. I think where it's an evening kickoff as well, 5:30 kickoff, isn't it? I feel more comfortable. It was 3 o'clock. Don't know why.
The other thing I would say though, Kim, is by the time we play there, I think depending on the games that are being played that day, Spurs might know what they have to do. Do you see what I mean? In a way, it might be a benefit.
Yeah, but sometimes when Spurs know what they have to do and things have gone the right, they don't exactly do it, do they?
Kim knows. Kim knows. Kim knows.
I'm trying to put myself in Sammy's camp, but then I find myself being pulled through back to Kim and Ant's camp. I tell you, I just can't win tonight. I tell you, just can't win tonight. Kim, remind us, where can we find the book that's currently out? Remind us.
Can I say supermarkets or not?
You can say whatever you want on this show. Feel free.
Yeah, it's in Family Man. It's out in paperback now. In Asda, Tesco, Sainsbury's, WH Smith, Waterstones, you name it. It's in it, and it's about a villain and his wife, and they're not right family.
I love it.
Love it.
Fantastic. Isn't it fantastic? I tell you, this show doesn't ever cease to amaze you. The wonderful guests we have on. Guys, thank you so much for all your love and support for the show. Massive love coming in from the comments. Thank you as always. We're back with you on Saturday evening, which is quite nice because then it means we can all go to the game, enjoy it, and then come back and hopefully have a great last word on Spurs, where Spurs keep on winning. So from Anne, from Sammy, from Kim, myself, guys, keep safe, keep well. As always, best wishes to Antony Conte getting safe and well soon. And as always, come on, you Spurs.